Hi, it's a ranch fair. I'm about to be demonetized because of freaking Ross. He's not very helpful on demonetization. I'm trying to make some money here. Kid shoots pig, and it's very interesting what happened. So you were in the dark, no lighted knock.
Correct.
What did you hear? I mean, you had 3 or 4 pigs. Just tell us a little bit about what happened, and what you heard when you shot them.
Right, so they were just all snarling in the background and walked in and did a little loop, walked right under the feeder, took forever, just slowly going through, and she turned and started quartering to me just a tad and let it fly. And just hear a big old whack, and then I saw fletchings disappeared, but obviously it's because it ran off. Now that I know, no lighted knock, and then heard her crash, and then just
you heard her go down.
Yeah, I heard her go down. Then
nice.
And then started just sporadic breathing, and
that was that.
You know, grunting and whatever. And
then what were you shooting? Just to go ahead and promote myself.
Yeah, so I was shooting serious archery Apollos 250s. 100 grade insert, 200 grain single bevel tough head. Yeah,
that's right. Who's shooting a ranch fair head? Who doesn't shoot that head? God. All right, so what we're going to do is going to go under the hood. I'm going to get demonetized. It's going to be great. But the arrow broke the shoulder and then didn't exit, which is interesting because he's shooting about 640 grains in a single bevel. So if you listen to the ranch fair and all the BS that goes on in the memes and all that, but blows through everything. This one stopped, which is crazy. It didn't exit. The broadhead was poked out like a bullet on the skin. And we want to see why. I suppose if we had video, we'd have seen her spin real bad and jump the string, which means this shoulder bone we're about to show you was moving. And it still was a 40-yard tracking job, and you heard her crash, and that doesn't suck. All right, so the impact point was here, right on the point of the shoulder. And listen. Tasty. So I've already felt in the hole, and there's like the shoulder socket is completely broken, which is going to be cool. All right. Yeah, I would say that's way better. Looks like turkey skin. Ooh. All right, there's a piece of bone. Already finding bone fragments. Yeah, you split the joint. It's truly fantastic. It's going to be fantastic. I'm not going to gut the pig and go inside. I just want to see the bone damage. Well, we might. All right. This is the ball. That's the bone everybody's kind of scared of, this ball joint. There's another. This is a bone fragment right there. It just came out of there. Here's another one. Hang on, I'm just going to cut it out, Charlie. All right. So it's real common. What you see with single bevel broadheads is the bones explode. Like it hits the bone and torques it so hard that it actually fragments. Those are bone pieces from the ball of the joint right here. And you can see, might need to get a hose. This is usually round and it's completely flat. Why is it flat? Because the broadhead hit it and split it. And that's why we're pulling bone fragments out. So it's real common to see fragmentation of very hard bones when you're shooting a high forward of center and a really heavy arrow system. This is not the biggest pig in the world, but structurally this pig represents a white-tailed deer, the way it's built. The bones are about the same size. They're much shorter, more compact. They're super durable animals, but they, this size of a pig really represents, if this was the same shot on a white-tailed deer, you should expect to have the same results. Right. So I kind of separated the shoulder out here. This is a ball and socket joint. This connection right here. This is the humerus. This is what everybody's scared of hitting, because normally they would stand about like that, and then the shoulder blade's going up, and this is the vital V right here. Okay, about like that big. So this part of the humerus is supposed to have a ball on it, and then this cup right here. Go ahead and zoom in there, Charlie. Okay, the way that works is it sits on top of this, just like your hip. That's why you can roll your hip around, because that can do circles and allows for flexibility. Well, when you cut it in half, the leg gets a little floppy. So what happened here is all those bone fragments I pulled out earlier is cool. If you want to wonder if they have a curved cap on them, this is supposed to be right there. That's actually the bone from the top of, and it's supposed to go in up in there. That's exactly how it works. Okay, so when I say that it's a ball, that's the top of it. When it rolls around, that is the top. That's impressive. Snapped it right off with the other random chunkos everywhere, and just broke it right off. Now what we found was, I found the shaft. So the shaft is actually angling downhill. It's kind of gross in here, but okay. So the arrow broke the ball, hit the spine. I can feel the spine right here has got some chunks knocked out. It didn't break the spine, or she'd have rolled. And then hit and redirected and went downhill from bouncing off. And most likely, she was jumping the string and probably moving, which didn't help a lot of things. A substandard arrow system in this particular situation, hitting that bone, generally speaking, would have stopped. 4-blade would have stopped. It was a totally optimized system for this, what some people would say is a horrible hit. Well, the pig went 40. Ross was like, I put a bad shot on him. 40-yard, no tracking. Flopping around and making noise. But it's interesting. This is what I wanted to see, because there's no exit wound. It cut the ball off of the humerus here, hit the spine. She was probably moving, redirected, and went straight downhill. There's no exit wound. And the broadhead is right there. So to be clear, here's a little bit of a break in the middle of the video. You're not supposed to do this stuff, because you're supposed to be awesome and have a storyboard, but that's BS. I believe that here's the humerus, here's the shoulder blade. I think she was on the move and somehow caught that arrow. A lot of my detractors and the haters out there are going to say that I'm making excuses for a single bevel heavy arrow forward to center system not passing completely through when it broke a bone. That's just because you read the message boards and you watch the memes. What I'm doing is a study of, wow, it didn't blow through. Why? I honestly believe that pig would have stood stock still. I don't have a video to prove this, but after breaking the bone, the path should have been straightforward and the shaft went straight down. It kind of redirected somehow. So something made the shaft tilt at impact, and we don't know what that is, and that's why I actually did this necropsy. If he'd have shot through the bone and passed completely through, I might have done another necropsy as well. But this is more interesting to study as a scientist or whatever, a researcher, and say, that one's weird. To all the haters out there, shattered the ball of the humerus, 40-yard tracking job, heard it flop. Win. Tell me your arrow system will do it. Maybe. Didn't hit anything back here. So, took off the front of the heart, lungs, and get your toy back. And there we go. And our broadhead. All right, I just pulled that out of the pig. You can see that the blade is absolutely perfect. There's no edge chatter. There's no chunks knocked out of it. It is in perfect condition. After blowing a bone apart, it looks that good. So, more excitement. Once again, this is not the biggest pig in the world, but the impact point was terrible. It was probably the worst impact point for bow hunting on the planet, is hitting that joint right there. Still broke it, redirected after hitting the spine. Pig was on the move. I can't confirm that, but I have 100% string jumps on every video I've ever shot. So I'm going to go with the 100% and guess that the pig was moving. They never stop moving, and generally when you shoot at them, they jump the string. So we're going to assume that, and once again, 100% on all my videos. Through here, hits the spine, redirects, goes downhill, gets all the energy sucked out of it. Pig goes 40. Go ahead and suck it back up again. And the broadhead looks like that. And that's why you want to shoot real high quality gear. And this is the kind of hit, this is plan B. If he'd have hit an inch to the left, it would zip right through and same result, 40-yard tracking job. This is totally plan B. And he had everything. He had snorted the fairy dust, and it worked out just fine. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching. You can subscribe to my channel if you want to, but I don't care if you do, because it's America. So, whatever. Once again, demonetized. And but for my channel, this is super high value stuff. We don't get to see this kind of stuff. No one does this in the hunting world, trying to figure out what happened or what high quality equipment can do for you. Good job, Ross. You made the perfect mistake.
Thank you.
You hit the most horrible spot on a pig and blew it apart and killed it in 40 yards. Good job. This is what Ross is so good with his bow. That's his deal. All you shot placement guys and good tough guys who are super good shots. He's so good, he aimed at that little bitty bone because he wanted to be on YouTube on my stupid channel with an adult arrow. So he aimed at that little bitty spot to make me look good. So Ross, I thank you for doing that because you're the best shot ever. All right, that's enough. Again, if you want to subscribe, do it. If you don't, subscribe to somebody else's channel. Bye. So as I kind of stated at the beginning of the video, this is an exploration of the random stuff that can happen to you with arguably the highest integrity, most heavily studied arrow platform on the planet. Is around 650 grain, single bevel broadhead. He had done nock tuning, perfect arrow flight, and you still have weird stuff happen. The more you hang out with the Rocket Man, which y'all don't get to, but, you know, right? It is an extremely dynamic situation. Interaction's a better word. To shoot a flying stick with a sharp projectile on the front and hope that it continues on its flight path when it has no idea, nor do you, what that arrow is going to hit. Mechanical, light arrow, heavy arrow, super heavy arrow. You have no idea what's going to happen at impact. And the animals have a vote. They have spent, you know, through all the random selection, we're hunting. Grant Wood said this to me one time. You're hunting the top survivors in the herd. The fat ones and the dumb ones got eaten. He didn't say that part because he's more eloquent than that. But I like to add that on the end because I think it's fun. Because it's accurate. The ones that were, you know, less than 100%, the ones that were dumb, a lot of them get eaten when they're young. And we're shooting at the ones that survived or have a group around them that survives and teaches the others. So then you have the animals having a vote. I'm still convinced this pig jumped the string. They don't stop moving as a general rule, just as an animal, but man, they all bounce or roll. So if that pig was a little quarter in two and spun toward him, there's no telling because we don't have the video. But the point I'm trying to get across here is the archery business at impact, which is all I care about. This is what the foundation The Ashby Foundation's whole goal is to study what happens when the flying stick hits random things. You will never predict what it's going to hit. You'll never be able to predict the angle the arrow is going to approach because the animals may spin, roll, drop, duck, twist, or stand there like a 3D target, which is optimal, of course. And then after that, what happens from the skin to skin? And there's just no focus on this in the industry at all. None. Well, there's one idiot, me, out there farting along and, you know, riding the tide of Ed Ashby's wonderful study and all the research he did for decades trying to figure out what happens when a flying stick hits an animal and what's the highest percentage. There's two ways to look at this. It's the highest percentage arrow system, or how do you reduce the variability at impact? However your head wants to eat that and process that, we're trying to reduce the variability once the arrow hits the animal. We would prefer that the arrow continues on its intended flight path through the animal. As Ed says, an arrow is always flying in the air and in meat and in bone. It's always flying. So it needs to be stable and it needs to do everything it can to keep going. And in this case, which was really, really cool, you would think I would hide something like this or say, oh my God, they failed. You know, I gotta go build me another whiz-bang arrow. That's not the case. Once you accept that this flying stick thing is incredibly dynamic, it's easier to get over this stuff. Until you accept that, you will continuously think that if you hit one kind of weird and had something crazy happen, that you can just go buy some whiz-bang fletching that some guy told you about, or spinning inserts, or some magical crap, when the situation itself is the problem. Yes, that's the problem. So, hey, thanks for watching. That's just kind of my departing thoughts. But when your head changes in the archery business from flying an arrow to a target to being concerned about what happens at impact and how to reduce the number of variables for that arrow to get redirected, you have forever been changed in your archery experience. Until that time, listen to the message boards. They've got all kind of solutions. Hey, Mom, get me some more Cheetos. Those guys.